the Landsraad is probably something you've not tapped into in Dune Awakening. And really, it's kind of reserved more or less for the end game. And it does favor, of course, small groups and guilds. But in this video today, I want to give you just a quick crash course on how it works to give you a really cool way into some cool items that you can get through this system. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge of my videos. So let me just give you a quick crash course on the Landsraad. So you basically have three different types of cards here: undiscovered, discovered, and claimed cards. Each one of those cards gives you rewards based off of your contribution. So let's go ahead and look at this one here. Actually, we'll look at this one. House Serrata has a set goal amount. So basically every week, starting on Sunday, because the Landsraad term lasts from Sunday to Sunday, there is a certain amount of goal that you have to hit with each one of these cards. So for example, this says 70,000, and there is a requirement or something that will contribute towards that goal amount. This instance, it says per kill of sandflies, and also a contribution from something in the deep desert per minute while holding a control point. So with those two things in mind, you can contribute towards this house specific card by turning in whatever is needed or by killing the targets of whatever is required. If you want to do a turn in, you'll notice here that this says deliver the Landsraad quartermaster at your faction's fortress in Haga Basin. So if you are playing as a Atreides, you would turn in right here, and if you are playing as a Harkonnen, you would turn in right there. But those two systems basically allow you to get rewarded off of the scale below. House rewards: 700, 3,500, 7,000, 10,500, and 14,000. Your contribution, either your contribution personally, then rewards you with whatever those rewards say below. And those rewards are randomized. The requirement to score for each card is randomized every week. But that's the too long didn't watch this entire video. That's pretty much the Landsraad in a nutshell. There is a lot more nuance to it, and I'm going to get into that. But if that's all you want to know, please feel free to shut the video down. I want to be respectful of your time. You can also navigate to any part of this video that interests you the most by using the timestamps or chapters in both the timeline and description below. Also, before you head out, if you find the information in this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those things does help me out in a huge, huge way. And also, you can find a link to my Twitch linked below in the pinned comment and the description. We'll be playing this game and plenty of others. Let's get started here on why the Landsraad is awesome for your end game experience in Dune Awakening. So now that we've kind of gone over things from a high level, let's kind of jump into the weeds on this. So with the Landsraad, it has the capability to give you what is really important in decrees. Decrees are the real reason that you're going to do this. Decrees are either going to be for Harkonnen or for Atreides, and they will last the entirety of the Landsraad term. That Landsraad term, again, like I said, is on Sunday. So this is in 4 days, 5 hours and 29 minutes as of the recording of this video. And that will then allow it so that the winning faction, and I'll talk about how you win, then votes on which one of these decrees they want active for the next term. So access to the tool vendor, repair costs and refining times are reduced by 75%, crafting costs are reduced by 25%. The current one active for Atreides is access to a Landsraad weapon vendor. So you can see that those are valuable things. And right now there's a total voting power of 34 for the, there's 9 over here with total voting power of 34. And 9 is the amount of cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the amount of cards, and we're just crushing the Harkonnen. It just kind of always ends up being that way. But how do you win? Well, you win by getting an entire horizontal line claimed for your faction. So theoretically, you can see here that whoever is claiming predominantly for the Atreides is doing this as fast as they can to put it right down the middle, so you really can't do anything to claim it for Harkonnen, is what it looks like. It seems like these are like kind of pretty much anything for the most part, right? It's going to lock that out if you can get one on there. So just by simply going across, it's like a big old game of like super tic-tac-toe. But what the important part of this is all the items you get. That's really the important thing. And you don't need to be in a guild to leverage that. You just need to be able to go and take a part of the actual requirements for any one of these houses. Taking a look at this one again, actually I'll go back to this one. House Harada, just go kill sandflies. So get those 23 per kill sandflies. You can see my personal contribution to that is 23. I killed a single sandfly. I think it was by random happenstance. I wasn't even thinking about it. And they will tell you, where you've got to usually do this. It'll sometimes say deep desert, or it will say the Haga Basin. I think one of these says deep desert on it. No, that's deliver. Yeah, so this one's an example. So found on the deep desert shield wall, additional progress can be gained by holding the control point for a House Alexan. So I can't go kill a House Atreides troops in the Haga Basin. I have to specifically do it in the deep desert shield wall, which is the very beginning of the deep desert, all A1 through 9. I think it's actually a little bit further in too. But either way, you have to go into the deep desert, go find House Atreides troops, which look different than House Atreides deserter troops, and kill them. And each one that you kill will give you 23 contribution here. It doesn't matter if you're Atreides or Harkonnen, it seems. You can just simply do this. And you can see the progress bar on the bottom towards which faction is kind of winning that. At least I'm pretty sure that's a progress bar. It could just be an overall progress bar for your goal amount being hit. So that is roughly how that all works, why that matters. And you can see that personal contribution here of 0. So I'm not going to be getting anything. But the whole point of this is to try to get the things really the best stuff is in the second and third. Obviously the fourth and fifth brackets are the best things, but you have to really kind of look at it from a personal achievable standpoint. Let's look at this one. I'm not giving away this much duralinium, right? Like if I look at 3,500 points here, 3,500 divided by 3, that's 1,166 duralinium. I'm not going to do that for Syndicate gauntlets. But, maybe this is a really good item. Let's take a look at some Syndicate chest plate. This is a leader Jean. You've got Mendex rattle, so you can get access to some unique schematics from this, the Sandflies Carver. So you can see there's actually pretty awesome things on here. And then further down the list, you can see armor swatches, a bunch of different ones for each one of the houses. So that's the cool thing, is to be able to get some further customization unlocked. The focused buggy cutter ray Mark 6 here, which is quite good. So you can see that there's a reason to do this. And I can tell you too, that like looking at the latter tiers, it's just going to be a little bit harder for personal contribution. They've said they're going to be looking at ways to tweak that and make it better so that people don't just hoard duralinium, wait until the Landsraad term is over, and then just dump duralinium in the next one. So they've said that they're going to be at least looking at how this can be contributed to from a small group and a single player or solo player basis. But that's roughly how this whole thing works. But you've seen the claimed cards, which you see right here, and you see the active cards. Well, how does this process work outside of it? What about all these undiscovered cards? Well, let's show specifically one of these. So with that one I was talking about, we have Lindarin here. And you're going to find these house representatives across the map, either in Haga Basin. Right here, you can see it's Haga, it's the rep. We've got one over here, but they're either going to be in Haga Basin, in the faction fortresses, Helios Gate, or down over in Riftwatch. They'll be in Arrakis, and they will also be in Harko Village. So you can go to the representatives, but they won't always be cooperative. So basically what you want to look at is this potential task reveal at the top. A certain amount of houses are revealed every 24 hours. So this, at the recording of this video, that timeline countdown is going to be roughly 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I believe, actually. So, or Pacific Daytime, sorry. At that point, more tasks will be revealed. I've heard that this is on every day, it's 4 more. So it goes 4, then 8, then 12. I've yet to really confirm that. You can go ahead and let me know in the comment section below if that is true. But some of these, you can actually talk to the representative and bribe them to give you the task ahead of time. House Lindarin, for example, here, I'm going to go up to this NPC, and you click through all this, and you can try to bribe your way in. You can see I've clicked through all these, and there's nothing.
Indeed, it's possible.
Now, if you can bribe them, it's going to cost you 300 spice melange. So that's entirely up to you if you want to go about it. It's just a way to basically get a jump on doing a task. Now, the help button here says that if you do it, certain weapons will be found in populous areas like towns and cities, while others are located in, certain Landsraad vote requirements may be revealed by speaking with Great House representatives. And I've heard that this is supposed to reveal it for the entire faction, but I think it only reveals it for your guild if you go ahead and do this. And keep in mind, with all of the Landsraad, you do have to be in a guild. So, I mean, in this case, I'm in this guild, like my guild, the Ram Ranch Cowboys that I made. But you could also just make a solo guild if you want to take part in this and you don't have a bunch of people. You just, hey, I'm going to make a guild. There's no requirement to making guilds. You just go ahead and craft the guild. 1 out of 32 members, it's you, and you go start to contribute. Obviously, it's geared towards larger group and large guild play. But once you've gotten all this kind of squared away, let's go through quickly how to turn in items. We'll go turn in some Durlinium, much to my chagrin, the resource I need the most right now. But we'll go show how this turn-in process works and the reward system. Rewards for the Landsraad, or at least turn-ins and rewards, are all going to be done here through your faction's quartermaster. So if you are Atreides, that quartermaster is right here. The quartermaster for Harco is like right there. It's like just northwest of Riftwatch. Like if you take this incline to get up to Riftwatch, you take this incline to get over to the quartermaster. So once you have the necessary items that you need, you get heat stroke by sitting out in the sun making a video like an idiot. You would take those items and bring them over to your quartermaster. And say you're making a delivery.
Excellent.
And you would go ahead and go unaffiliated.
An unaffiliated house.
This one.
Very delivery for House Zeta. Noted. We'll make certain it reaches them.
So I gave 6 Durlinium ingots because I had those in my inventory. So I'm going to press all right. And I'm going to go back to the menu here, back to House Zeta, which we said we were going to be choosing, right? And we can see that on my personal contribution now at the very bottom says 18 because it was 6 times 3 is 18. Now the per minute while holding control points, you can go ahead and do that if you want. It's really not going to be too amazing of a situation just because of how long that all takes. Now this process is going to earn you contribution towards those house rewards that we've talked about almost this entire video, right? To get those house rewards, you'll either go to the specific house faction representative across the map, or just go to the quartermaster. I don't know why you'd want to go to the specific one. Maybe at one point that was a requirement and they changed it somewhere during the development of the game, but just go to the quartermaster. Now, what happens if this card gets claimed before I have a chance to get to where I want to get? As long as you have a personal contribution towards any of the reward brackets, 700, 35, 70, 10,000, 1,400, or 14,000, oh my God, then you will still claim the reward. So don't worry about if you're like, oh man, I didn't get a chance to get back there in time. The term is not up and I still have a reward I want to claim. Well, just go to the quartermaster. You can still claim it even if this card itself has been claimed. You can still do that, but you cannot contribute to a card that has already been claimed. So this one, for example, here, if I wanted to go deliver the Regis Philbin, which is what I call it, for 1,200, I wouldn't be able to because this has already been claimed. So the voting process, the decrees, those are all great things. The big focus here, though, is the rewards for really just like the solo and small group player. That's a really easy target to hit. 700 points. Okay, you can make one of those Regis Philbins and you've already hit the 10,000 Solari. You could make 3 of them and you've hit the Syndicate chest plate. So there's some of these are really great for small group and solo play, and some of them not so much. So they've, again, like I've said before, they have talked about ways that they're going to make this better for solo players. And I wonder if it's going to be some sort of rolling personal contribution on certain houses or something of the sort, maybe a larger goal amount. I'm not sure. But some of these, though, are just not going to makes sense. Here's an example. I'm not going to be delivering durlinium ingots because I'm still working on that progression point for plasteel. So I'm not going to be messing around with those, plasteel and durlinium. But this one, you might look at this like, man, I'm not going to go make a buggy. You can find buggies throughout the map and then just go deliver them. So that's how that would work. You'd go find a buggy and then bring it over and deliver it. So, and what I mean by that is you can go to pretty much like any of these bases. Most of them will have some sort of ruined buggy. I know that like this one does, and the Godzilla statue, this one does. So there's a ruined buggy, you just go grab it and you bring it over there and turn it in and you're good to go. But again, some of these are going to be ridiculous. Let me find an example. Industrial set of compactors, passive suspensor belts. Some of them will say, someone will specifically ask for plastinium, and I'm like, it ain't me, bro. I ain't doing that. But the kill ones are pretty easy to knock out because a lot of them will be in just the Haga Basin, but a lot of them too will also be in deep desert. You just have to see where it says. Like again, found on the deep desert shield wall. Okay, then that's what I want to go do this quest. So just make sure you're taking a look at these. Make sure you're looking at the rewards. Jolt knife is pretty cool. Plasteel composite blade parts, that's awesome. I really want to get all this, the steel suit armor swatches, all the armor swatches in general. So I'm going to be trying to get those big ones, but that's going to require full guild effort. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. If you have any questions about this system, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. It sounds like I've said before, they are going to be making a lot of changes and improvements to this because right now it's just so one-sided depending upon the server you're on. I don't think I've seen a single day. There was 1 week where Harkonnen won the Landsraad term. Otherwise, it's just exclusively been Atreides. And I think for the personal contribution, what was happening is every time one of these would get revealed, some guild would just go take some mondo amount of contribution and just throw it into it because of a duping bug. People were duplicating the resources in mass, then just going and flooding the Landsraad and taking over every single card. So we'll see how this system changes, but these are the rules for it right now. And they should be last the test of time. Of course, we'll see what other little changes they've got in mind for us. But if there's any other facts that you want to throw in about the Landsraad, go ahead and let it be known in the comments section below. As always, though, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.